You're listening to the home of Sooner fans, KREF, Norman, Oklahoma, and streaming live on the KREF app. The Ref Sports Radio Network.
Considering refinancing your mortgage? Now might be the perfect time to start planning. With rates on the move, Stride Bank can help you determine if you may be able to lower your monthly payments, shorten your loan term, or tap into your home's equity. Stride's expert mortgage advisors will work with you to tailor a solution that fits your needs. With local roots and national reach, Stride Bank is your go-to partner for all your banking needs. Stride Bank, your trusted financial partner since 1913. Find out more at stridebank.com. Stride Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Mike Steele here. If you or someone you love been diagnosed with cataracts, well, congrats are in order. Why? Because it's not about just seeing clearly again. It's about a life change. And my man, Dr. B, is here to transform your vision. You could go anywhere for cataract surgery, but why settle? With Dr. B, you got the chance to not just remove the cataracts, but also to say goodbye to those glasses for good. Give Dr. B a call at 405-755-7700 or visit alcok.com today. Experience the difference with Dr. B and see the world like never before.
The Showplace Theater at Riverwind is the best place for live music, and we've got some of the best acts around, like Three Dog Night, November 16th. Clay Walker, November 29th.
She's blushing.
Styx, December 7th. And John Party, December 20th. Riverwind is OKC's favorite casino experience.
Fowler Automotive is proud to be a part of your community, where our passion and values lie far beyond the showroom. We believe that families, sports, art, and culture are at the heart of every thriving community, and it's important to us that we help build the communities that our dealerships call home. Stop by any of our 6 Oklahoma dealerships to see the Fowler Standard hard at work. We pride ourselves on being friendly, helpful, honest, and fair. This is what drives us every day. Fowler Automotive, a proud partner of OU Athletics.
It's football time in Oklahoma, and it's the perfect time to build your dream home with K&B Homes. Whether you're in the OKC Metro or beyond, they offer flat fee pricing with no hidden surprises. Bring them your game plan or choose one from the K&B playbook. They will bring your dream home to life with custom woodwork and your personal touches. Make the winning call today with K&B Homes. Call them today at 405-808-9005 or visit kmbhomesllc.com to kick off your project.
The holidays are approaching, and Balfour of Norman can help you make it a Crimson and Cream Christmas for everyone. Locally owned for more than 45 years, Balfour on Campus Corner has always been a favorite of Sooner fans. For holiday decorating, you will find Christmas ornaments, stockings, Christmas cards, and other decorations, including a 7-foot-tall inflatable Santa. So stop by the store on Campus Corner for all the latest and greatest in OU gear, or shop online at crimsonproud.com, where you will find everything Sooner.
How do you give hope to a child in the foster care system? It starts with your heart. That tug you feel on yours when you hear that children are waiting for a stable, loving voice to speak up for their best interests. And then it becomes your time. What started out as a feeling that maybe you could make a difference becomes the difference. Change a child's story. There is a child waiting for a volunteer like you.
Contact South Central CASA at 405-360-5295.
When I grow up, I want to be a teacher.
Because when I'm a teacher, I can help kids to learn and chase their dreams.
PI, a defect of the immune system, affects millions of children. Early and accurate diagnosis and treatment give children like Sam a chance to achieve their dreams.
It takes a lot of caring teachers to make school fun. It took a lot of caring people to keep my dream alive. And now, because of them, I can be head of the class.
For more information, visit the Jeffrey Modell Foundation at info4pi.org.
The Ref Radio Sports Network is powered statewide by the insurance adjusters at Brown O'Haver. Fire, wind, theft, or tornado, we can help. Call 405-735-5510. Live from the Buffalo Wild Wing Studios, it's time to get locked in to the best Sooner recruiting and football news with Tyler McComas and Parker Thune.
You better lock it up. You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up.
Hit the guys up on the Riverwind Casino calling line at 405-329-9000. Text the show on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line at 405-651-3439.
Do it! Just do it!
Now, with Locked In, Here's Tyler McComas and Parker Thune.
Bye-week Friday here on Locked In, and story number one, probably still the OU offensive coordinator search. Who are the main candidates who everyone wants as the number one target at this point? Feels like if you interview 3 different OU fans, you'll get about 3 different responses as to who the favorite is for the OC hire coming up very soon. But before we get to all of that, and of course we'll get to the text as well, 405-651-3439. During show prep today, I learned something that I feel like I should have already known. I don't know, Parker, I guess you can tell me. I was today years old when I found out about this. Is the whole today years old thing, is that past its time? Do people still say that, or what's the update on that?
Yeah, you're good. People still say that.
I was today years old when I found out that the first recruit that Shane Beamer visited when he was at Oklahoma is the same quarterback that he is going to face tomorrow in Columbia, South Carolina.
Really?
Okay, so I'm not crazy for not knowing that, correct?
No, you are not crazy. I did not know that either.
So I found the story today. It says Beamer was an assistant for Oklahoma when Pine was OU's top quarterback prospect.
What?
So he didn't just visit the dude. Apparently, Drew Pine at one time was OU's top quarterback prospect. The Gamecocks coach recalled the first recruiting trip Sooners coach Lincoln Riley ever sent him on was to Connecticut to watch Pine as a high schooler. Quote, he was our top quarterback that we were recruiting at Oklahoma, Beamer said this week. So I guess he said that publicly in a press conference setting. I'm like, what? There's no – how do I not remember this? That Drew Pine was OU's top quarterback prospect, and that's the first QB that Shane Beamer – with a decent little name at the time, he sent on a recruiting visit. Obviously, OU did not get him, but I had no idea that Drew Pine last week, that guy, was OU's top quarterback prospect at one point. How does that make you feel?
I did not recall that. I had no idea that was the case. That would have been the class of 2020, and that would have been Chandler Morris year. That was the year they took Chandler Morris. He was the quarterback they took in that class. There's no record of an offer going out to Drew Pine. I'm checking right now into his background on all the various recruiting sites, and there is no record of Oklahoma ever having offered him a scholarship. So I don't know if that's true. I don't know if it's accurate to say that he was Oklahoma's top quarterback prospect. Okay, I guess there is. Rivals has him listed with an OU offer. 24/7 Sports does not. That was slightly before my time covering OU recruiting, so I do not recall how legit things were in that regard between Pine and OU. But that's, well, I'd say that's one of those guys you're grateful did not end up wearing crimson and cream, but he did just beat Oklahoma last week. So
right. I mean, he ended up going to Notre Dame, as we well know, that ended up transferring to – he started 10 games at Notre Dame in 2022, and then he transferred to Arizona State. Now he's at Mizzou. But I had no idea. I didn't know if I was the only one that did not know this or didn't remember that, or if I just forgot it altogether. I don't know, but I found that fascinating today. One Star Jay in Tulsa says, Tyler, today years old is right up there with rent-free as far as played-out sayings. Rent-free is easily the most played-out saying out there.
In
Jay,
the
if you'd like
world?
to say it,
yes.
Well, I think in the sports world, maybe in any world whatsoever, today years old, that's why I was trying to make sure, Jay, but rent-free is like, God, can we stop saying that? I mean, it's literally all over the place. Social media, nobody can come up with anything more intelligent than that. It's exhausting.
The Waffler says, I would take Drew Pine over any quarterback on our roster right now, and that is pretty effing sad.
Oh, God. He did outplay Jackson Arnold last Saturday, which is super depressing.
That is true. And Big Rich in OKC chimed in to say, he would have rode the Pine.
In all caps there, Big Rich. I like that a lot. Johnny from UConn says, well, they watched him play and said no thanks. Jim in Arlington says, Tyler, oh, great, Tyler. Now another recruit that Missouri fans can say they eventually stole from OU. And then Cherokee Sooner says, well, we stayed consistent with our history of making backups look like All-Americans. Maybe he could have done something here. Drew Pine, here's the unfortunate part about last week, not to spend a whole show reliving it, but Drew Pine looked like Drew Pine for the first, 3 quarters of that game? I mean, he really didn't start getting hot there until kind of the later stages of the football game. OU had him held to 3 points at halftime, and they didn't even have 100 yards at the half.
No, they had 92 total yards in the first half, 3 points. They figured, all right, this is the Drew Pine experience. Going to pour it on in the second half, get on out of Columbia with a win. And, did anything but that beautiful vision transpire. 405 listener says, maybe Pine was only OU's number 1 prospect until Beamer saw him, and then off the list.
Maybe so. Maybe he talked old Muleshoe out of that one, like, hey, dude, I just went all the way to Connecticut to see this guy. No thanks. Let's go take another quarterback. Let's go get because Chandler Morris was a very late ad in that 2020 class, correct?
Very late, yeah. I think he committed at the All-American Bowl or All-American game, whichever one he was at. That was at the very, very tail end of the cycle that he committed, yes. KW918 says, true or not, he became the 473rd mediocre or backup quarterback to have a career day on OU's defense. Dude was maybe the worst of all of them.
Yeah, not great. I guess Chandler Morris scored a touchdown in the last time OU played in a conference championship game, huh? That's not a good feeling.
That's sad to think about right there. Yes, it definitely happened. It happened right in front of me at Jerry World. Chandler Morris on a QB sweep around left end to the end zone.
Heck of a play. Keep the text coming, 405-651-3439. I'm at the Riverwind Casino today, conveniently located off I-35 and Highway 9, and features almost 3,000 of your favorite games, 20 table games, 11 poker tables, and its own off-track betting lounge. Riverwind offers state-of-the-art showplace theater with over 1,500 seats. Come enjoy some of your favorite musicians live with endless gaming and entertainment options. There is something for everyone here at Riverwind. We'll get into the 5 that we talked about yesterday, offensive coordinator prospects. But I do want to mention at least 3 guys that I think have lost a lot of steam for this job, or at least seemingly. Maybe these 3 aren't out of it yet, depending on who says no to this job. But I want to start with G.J. Kinney. And I feel like, 2 weeks ago, heading into the main game, that G.J. Kinney was, getting a lot of attention. We were talking a lot about him. Has Texas State just kind of, maybe not been great here recently, and that's affected, what OU thinks of him or what he thinks of OU? Is he bound to get another job in college football? Why is the name G.J. Kinney over the past couple of weeks seemingly, not as hot of a name as it was at one point?
Well, I don't know that it ever was a too terribly hot name. G.J. Kinney is in the picture. Like, I would consider him a candidate. I would apply that tag to him as opposed to somebody like, Willie Korn, for instance, whose name has gotten brought up but never credibly. It's just kind of been, this would make sense for Oklahoma. Not there's any semblance of buzz here. There has been buzz on G.J. Kinney, and I would consider him to be a candidate, but he has never been right up there at the top with guys like Joe Craddock and Dan Mullen.
Mike Shanahan, is he just not interested? Do people think that he's going to be a head coach very soon? What's the thought on Mike Shanahan?
Yeah, just just a situation where there never really was any traction there with Mike Shanahan. It was a name that naturally people were going to throw out there. Oh, Indiana's got the best offense in college football. They're undefeated. Mike Shanahan, yeah, bring him along. Come on down. But that never was a direction OU looked or has looked.
And then what about Brennan Marion? I mean, that initially, like the night that Seth Luttrell got let go, all right, let's make a hot board here. Brennan Marion is definitely on most of the hot boards that are out there. He may not be the favorite, but he's kind of in the range. Is he even in consideration at this point? Because that one definitely, maybe more than any other name, seems like it's fallen off the most.
Yeah, it has fallen off. And one of the things that I myself realized, and I wrote this, I'm pretty sure I said this on the radio in the days immediately following Seth Luttrell's departure, That was the sexy name at the time, right? Brennan Marion, UNLV was on top of the world for everything that they were doing out there in Sin City offensively. And I'm pretty sure I myself said at the time, hey, I'd get in touch with Brennan Marion. I'd give that dude a call. I'd interview him. And then the more I dug into it, the more I talked with people in the know on the UNLV, and the more I realized, you know what? The concept of Brennan Marion might be better than the reality of Brennan Marion. And so while it looked enticing on paper, practically speaking, probably not the direction OU would have been best served to go, and it does not seem as though right now that's the direction they are going.
918, any rumors that Dan Mullen had any conversations with OU while he was covering the Tulsa game yesterday?
Yes, I heard Brent Venables actually snuck into the booth.
Yeah?
Yes, Brent
During
Venables snuck
media
into the
timeouts
broadcast booth and brought a bucket of popcorn and actually conducted the interview with Dan in several segments while the broadcast was on commercial.
Hey, Dan, how do you feel about the tight end screen? You like it? We like it, too. You want to run it next year? What would you do here? You'd run the tight end jet sweep as well? The Cessna jet, as some people are calling it? All right, good. Yeah, I heard that, too.
Jet.
A lot of good nicknames for that play. Really good. Any rumors that Dan Mullen had any conversations with OU? I mean, it wouldn't have been yesterday. I mean, Dan Mullen was prepping to call a Tulsa football game. I mean, he's in the state. Maybe something would happen today, but no, I don't think that anything was happening yesterday or anything before and after the Tulsa game. 918, for anyone to give up on Michael Hawkins already is ridiculous and ignorant. He hasn't even been on campus for a full year, and in that short time, he didn't have a coach.
Yeah.
Is anyone giving up on Michael Hawkins just yet?
No, I don't think so, nor should you, because let's call this like it is here, Tyler. Michael Hawkins should never have had to play in 2024. Yeah. The only reason he did was because Jackson Arnold was ineffective. So, yeah, to write off a guy who struggled as a true freshman, I think is unwise, especially when he got thrust into that position far earlier than anybody could have anticipated. And I still believe Michael Hawkins has a very, very bright future at the University of Oklahoma. I know that there are some conversations ongoing right now surrounding what the future of the QB position looks like at OU in 2025 and beyond. And there's going to be a concerted effort to make sure that Michael Hawkins doesn't go anywhere and that he is locked in for the long run here at the University of Oklahoma, because I'm not going to say everybody in that building sees him as the future, but there are enough people in that building that see him as the future of this program at the quarterback position that it will be a priority to keep him around.
Yeah, I'm definitely not ready to give up on Michael Hawkins at all. I mean, there's some quarterbacks that were really good college football players, some that even won the Heisman Trophy, who struggled their freshman year because they had to start. Didn't Kyler Murray struggle at Texas A&M? Baker Mayfield, I know he was like Big 12 Freshman of the Year, so that one might be hard to say, but he lost a starting job. Apparently, obviously didn't get a scholarship offer, but if Baker Mayfield's not a good example, then I think Kyler Murray is, and there's some others out there. And say what you want about Michael Hawkins. Clearly, I'm saying don't give up on the guy, but you've got one SEC win so far this year, and you may end the season with only one SEC win. And he was the quarterback. He was the starting quarterback for that one SEC game that you got. And, yes, the Kip 6 is what really won that game. But in terms of biggest offensive plays that OU's had this year, his throw to J.J. Hester in that game has got to rank pretty high, right? So, I mean, he's easily made one of the biggest offensive plays in the year, and he's been your starting quarterback for your lone SEC win. I'm not giving up on the guy at all. No way. Boomer Brock says Michael Hawkins is not Baker or Kyler. LOL. Didn't say that he was. That wasn't really the point of that. GB from the 918 says I would take Hawkins over Arnold any day. That's a decision. It feels like that's a decision that this staff is going to have to make, regardless of how they feel about that. I mean, you're going to try to keep two, but I feel like most likely it would just be one.
Well, and maybe the decision gets taken out of your hands. Maybe one of those guys just decides, you know what, I'm going to pack up and hit the road. And that way you don't have to have the hard conversations and figure out which of the two quarterbacks you want to roll with going into next year. Again, I think if you have to choose one, and I believe Oklahoma is going to have to choose one, my opinion is that guy is Hawkins. I think Hawkins has more of a future set out for him at Oklahoma than Jackson Arnold does. That's no knock on Arnold. I think he's going to have success. I don't think he's a lost cause. I think he can go somewhere and rehab, if you will, and play good football. But the brutal reality, Tyler, is that you are not getting both of those guys back in 2025. It will be one or the other.
I tend to agree on that. All right, 405-651-3439. Keep the text coming on this bye week Friday. I'm at the Riverwind Casino. Boy, it's been crazy this week with flips across the country in college football. We'll get to that. We'll get to OU recruiting in the 2025 class, and, yep, more OC talk as well. Keep it locked on the Ref.
Orange Down Apple Pie Liquor is not your grandma's apple pie unless your grandma was a moonshiner with a PhD in flavor. This all-natural, 6-time distilled spirit is sure to light up any party, tailgate, or special occasion. Whether toasting a touchdown or yelling at the umps because Spike was safe, Horns Down Apple Pie is the perfect drink for celebrating the highs and lows of life in Oklahoma. Horns Down celebrates all of you who cheer from the berm, tailgate, on Lindsay Street, and wreak havoc on social media. You can find our red bottle at your local liquor store or search for your closest location at drinkhornsdown.com.
And locations in Norman, Newcastle, and Midwest City will work hard to get you back in the game. Ortho Central, #1 in sports medicine and orthopedic care. Call 405-360-6764 and schedule an appointment today.
Did you know there's a place where you can get good neighbor service and surprisingly great rates on home and auto insurance? Yep, and that place is, ta-da, State Farm. Here's the deal. State Farm agent Cindy Nasher is your go-to agent in Norman for the service you deserve at the price you want. So stop shopping around. State Farm agent Cindy Nasher has you covered. Call 405-307-0500 for surprisingly great rates today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements. Oh my nosh, how good is that food? Come taste the talk of the town at Nosh in Moore and enjoy a meal from their all-day brunch and lunch menu on Tuesday to Friday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. or Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. From tea parties to birthday and holiday parties, Nosh has something for everyone. Call 405-676-6674 to cater your next game day party, business event, or visit their website at noshinmore.com.
The Sooners aren't the only team in Norman killing it in the transfer portal. Bob Stoops.
Some of the things that they do, it's a little bit questionable, but like, seriously, you did that?
Dusty Dvorak.
The last thing that you want to have happen is find yourself falling behind.
Brian Bosworth.
You know, it's such a great call because they disguised the blitz.
The Ref continues to prove this is the home of Sooner fans. The Ref is SEC ready. Are you?
The Ref Sports Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Luke Settle, leading a team of dedicated insurance professionals alongside experienced pharmacists here at Sooner Pharmacy in Norman, Oklahoma. Medicare doesn't have to be confusing. We combine pharmaceutical expertise with insurance knowledge to help you navigate the options, find the right fit, and make informed decisions about your health and financial security. Visit makeahealthplan.com or call 405-217-0711. Plan Insurance, your trusted Medicare partner.
Do you know of a deserving community member that might be in need? Norman Air is giving back to the community by providing a brand new HVAC system fully installed. If you know someone facing financial challenges and in need of a new HVAC system, they would love to hear from you. Visit normanair.com, click on the HVAC giveaway, and nominate them today. Hurry, the deadline is November 15th. Norman Air wants to help, so nominate a deserving family today for the Norman Air HVAC giveaway.
Nominees must be a homeowner located in the OKC Metro with an existing HVAC system.
Is your pool ready for a refresh? At Signature Custom Pools, we turn your visions into reality. Whether it's a sleek, modern redesign or a luxurious new addition for next season, our expert team creates pools tailored to your lifestyle. Dive into elegance and enhance your home's beauty. Call them for a free consultation at 405-898-9098 or visit them online at signaturecustompools.com so you can make your dream pool a reality with a splash next season.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Locked in with McComas and Thune, live on the Ref for the Houma Sooner fans. Tyler McComas, Parker Thune, Ref Army, listening worldwide via the free KREF app. Just search KREF in the App Store. Washington, D.C. is tuned in today. Denver, Colorado, Austin, Texas, Fishers, Indiana, Jasper, Georgia, Columbia, South Carolina. You guys know what to do tomorrow. Richmond, Virginia, and McAllister, Oklahoma, all tuned in today via the free KREF app. Again, just search KREF in the App Store to listen to our coverage of the Sooners wherever you're at worldwide. And our Ref Army Locator is brought to you by Horns Down Apple Pie. 80 locations throughout the state, coming soon to the state of Texas. Awesome design on the bottle with the upside-down Longhorn. Great taste as well. Fantastic taste. Check out Horns Down Apple Pie coming up this bye week. And then KREFSports.tv. We got a lot of high school football games for you coming up this weekend. 6A first-round playoffs. Broken Arrow at Deer Creek. That is tonight at 7 p.m. Westmore at Norman is tonight at 7 p.m. Southmore at PC North is at 7 p.m. Ponca City at Piedmont is at 7 p.m. And then Moore at Norman North will be tomorrow at 1 p.m. So Moore at Norman North, a Saturday afternoon game at Harv Collins Field in Norman, 1 p.m. Who you got in 6A1 to win it all? You just going with Bixby? Or are you going with those Norman Tigers who just went to Bixby and won last week?
No,
huh?
I'm always going with Bixby. I am going to go down with the Bixby ship. Whenever Bixby finally doesn't win a state championship, I will be wrong for the first time. So, until then, rolling with Bixby.
I'm going to pick Norman High just because. Went up there and flexed last week and said, that same old Norman, huh? One-loss team, Norman High rolling right now. I'm just pulling for Norman High, so I hope they win the whole thing. But, yeah, some good games on KRSports.tv.
DC Sooner on the text line said, Jackson Arnold to Brahms. It's going to be mere seconds before we start getting Joe's. He'd probably drop my ice cream cone.
Yeah, that was just not a great outcome last week. Not a great outcome. 318, can someone tell me why Kevin Wilson wouldn't take a call from Brent Venables or why he wouldn't leave for a co-head coach / OC position?
I will answer your question with a question, a la Michael Scott. Why would Brent Venables make a call to Kevin Wilson?
And why would OU offer him a co-head coach position?
Yeah, co-head coach? When has that ever been? Like, that is right up there this week with the text. Is like, can Brett just step down and be DC? And like, who does that? When have you ever heard of anyone doing something like that?
Can we just say that that's 0% chance of happening? That Brent steps down and just says, oh, yeah, I'll step down. I'll take less money. And, in fact, I'll just go back to being the defensive coordinator. In terms of scenarios that could happen with the Oklahoma football program next year in terms of coaching staff, that is the least likely of them all.
Yeah, of all the things that would never happen, that would never happen the most. Cherokee Sooner says, no, not Brahms. Burgers would be all over the floor.
God, man. We've created a monster. Zach and Purcell, why the absolute frack would we want Kevin Wilson? Y'all are driving me nuts. I think the Kevin Wilson name, clearly for two reasons. One, he was an OC here before, and he did a very good job. I'm going to guess that Brent comment, though, a couple of weeks ago saying, what did he say exactly? He's the best play caller he's ever been around. I thought that would get some traction, and it seems like it has.
Lost City Sooner asked, did anyone see Kevin Wilson call a jet sweep last night to lose the game? Well, it fit right in.
It would. It would. Blacktop Billy says, all this crap about BV going to make me change the channel. Don't go anywhere, Blacktop Billy. We're mostly talking about who he's going to hire as the OC. Not even so much not even so much Brent Venables.
I mean, you could change the channel. I trust that you'll be back before long, though.
Yeah, probably so. what's the main story with OU's 2025 recruiting class right now? We just continue to monitor to see if all the commits are going to stick at this point. That kind of feels like the biggest story for me. I don't know how many times Michael Fasusi can be asked about it, but it seems like he's pretty locked in.
Yeah, everybody seems locked in right now. Here's the interesting question to me. Can OU get a linebacker in this class? Technically, they have one right now in Marcus James, but I see Marcus James long-term as an edge rusher, as I have said before. I do not see a true linebacker in this class for Oklahoma. They are in pursuit of one. He is currently committed to Baylor. His name, of course, is Caleb Burns. Clear Falls High School down in the Houston area. He's going to OV for the Alabama game. Tyler, I would never have thought we'd get here, but I'm not sure OU's going to be able to flip that kid from Baylor.
Yeah, crazy, isn't it? I feel like it was a foregone conclusion once the OU offer and, the Oregon interest, and then he was supposed to take an Ole Miss visit. And, well, I mean, he may end up at OU, but if nothing, he ain't going to end up at Baylor. Isn't it pretty miraculous that Baylor may win out on this one by the time it's all said and done? I mean, we still got some time to go before signing day, but hand raised right here at the Riverwind Casino, I did not think there was any way he was sticking with Baylor.
Baylor's last 3 games of the year, Tyler, West Virginia, Houston, Kansas. They could finish 8-4.
Crazy, man.
They could finish 8-4 while OU could miss a bowl game. Like when Caleb Burns got the offer, which was back on October 1st, at the time OU was 4-1. Baylor was 2-3. At the time, especially when you factor in the SEC, it seemed as though Oklahoma was the vastly superior option. Is that true right now?
You know what's interesting about, like kind of a side note to that? What 3 coaches were on the hottest seats in all of college football coming into the season? Well, Pittman, Napier, and Dave Aranda. Florida's basically already said that Billy Napier's coming back. We'll see if that's true or not. You just laid out a path for Baylor to win 8 games this year. I guess they're not going to fire Aranda if he wins 8 games. And Sam Pittman's got a chance here in November to save his job. Like there is a chance that all 3 of those guys who are on the hottest of hot seats are all back in 25.
Which is insane. Like, imagine having that kind of parlay. Imagine putting that parlay together in July. I'd never have to work again. Yeah, Billy Napier, Dave Aranda, Sam Pittman, they're all back in 2025 at their respective institutions. How bonkers is that?
Yeah, I didn't think that at least 2 of those guys would even make it to November. I think Billy Napier was going to make it to the month of November. I didn't think that Sam Pittman was going to make it to the month of November. I thought you'd already have 2 SEC coaches fired. And you look up and the head coach here is going to be probably on one of the hottest seats in the SEC, unfortunately, going to next year. But, yeah, man. So what percentage would you put it at that OU does get a linebacker in the 25 class? Pretty low? 50-50?
Well, I think it's a coin flip right now. I think it's a coin flip as to whether Burns flips to Oklahoma or sticks with Baylor. Those, I think, are the only 2 viable outcomes right now. I do not think he goes to Oregon. I do not think he goes to Ole Miss. I do not think he goes to UCLA. What I believe will happen is that he will either take that OUOV next weekend and flip, or he will stay committed to Baylor. There's also the possibility, Tyler, that even if OU can't flip him on the visit next week, they can still play the long game successfully because he is not signing until February.
Yeah.
So you got a shot even if it doesn't all come together next weekend.
Yeah, that's true. There's been a lot of flips this week, man. 13, you see this stat? 13 decommits for Bama in the 2025 cycle. Probably been a very long time. Yeah, I saw that today. 13, and maybe some of those were when Nick Saban retired.
Yeah, I would think so.
And they had a few decommits. That would have to be the case. But 13 decommits for Bama in the 2025 cycle. And 2 this week? Dawson Merritt, a linebacker, flips from Alabama to Nebraska. And then, of course, Caleb Cunningham, big-time wide receiver, flips from Alabama to Ole Miss. So they got a couple of this week, man. Jaden Nickens, he is going to KU. Going to play football and basketball. Best of luck to Jaden Nickens out there at KU. And Bryce Underwood had the Instagram story. We talked about it yesterday. $10.5 million over 4 years was the reported offer that Michigan is throwing out to five-star quarterback Bryce Underwood and LSU commits. And he put up on his Instagram story last night, number one quarterback likely to decline Michigan's $10.5 million offer. Boy, I bet that recruitment is an absolute circus right now.
Man. 10.5. Like, here's the thing, Tyler. And I don't know what Bryce Underwood is going to do. I don't think an Instagram story indicates what he's going to do one way or the other. But I'm sorry, man. Like, eight figures is about the point at which I start to lose my morals. If I got offered 8 figures, wouldn't really matter what school was offering it. I'd be there.
You go to Missouri you play for Dorkowitz for 8 figures?
Yeah, I probably would.
Oh, my gosh. He can be bots. He can be bots.
I can. As I've said many a time, I will do anything for the right price. But it's got to be the right price.
Man. The Waffler says the big picture here is that if BV gets this OC hire wrong, it will be the end for him. He has to get it right. I'd be calling Mike Shanahan 2 weeks ago. He's the best hire to make here. If he goes Wilson, he will be fired. I don't think he's getting Kevin Wilson here. I don't think that's realistic.
Kevin Wilson is not a name that I have heard once in the conversation surrounding OU's next offensive coordinator. Not once has Kevin Wilson's name been mentioned.
The only person that's brought up Kevin Wilson's name around OU is Brent Venables at that Rudy show a couple of weeks ago. So I guess you can read into that if you'd like to, but I mean, he just mentioned him. There's not a whole lot of talk for him as the OC. One-star EJ from Louisiana. I think Brent will get this hire right at season's end. His first hire is a good one with Jeff Lebby, so I have faith he knows what's needed. Let's hope so. Big time hire. Biggest hire for a coordinator around here in a long time. 318, another texter from Louisiana. I've heard Will Stein's name thrown around. I'm all for it, but what makes Stein make a lateral move to a job that if it doesn't work out, he's looking for a job the next year? Well, we talked about it yesterday. I don't think Will Stein is leaving Oregon for any OC job in college football, OU included.
And you could, even 3 weeks ago, you could look at that and say, okay, Oregon to Oklahoma, yeah, it's a lateral move. Right now, it doesn't feel like a lateral move, Tyler. It feels like a step down, and a pretty steep step down. And so if you're going to take a step down, there's going to be a major asking price associated with it. And the other harsh reality, if you're in Oklahoma's shoes, is that if all it comes down to is a bidding war, you're not going to outbid Oregon. It's just not happening.
Let me ask you a simple question, maybe not a simple answer. I don't know, maybe it is a simple answer. When you evaluate things currently right now, how good is the OU offensive coordinator job currently? How would you rate it? How would you rank it? The strengths of it, all that.
I think it is better than it looks. I think the national perspective on OU's offensive coordinator job is, I don't know if you want any part of that if you're a bright young offensive mind, but I think when you really dig in deeper and consider that you have some very talented receivers that haven't been available all season and that are going to be coming back next year, you've got a strong group in the backfield, you've got some encouraging young offensive line pieces, and no doubt some holes you will have to fill in the portal nonetheless. But, I guess what I'm trying to say here, Tyler, is that I don't think Oklahoma is nearly as far off from being a prolific offensive team again as they may look to the casual observer. Now, whoever the new OC is has to make that happen. They got to come in and they got to start cooking. But I don't think Oklahoma is that far away from being able to play top-level offense once again with the pieces that are already there.
So you think they're close? Is that what you're saying?
Don't put those words in my mouth.
Okay. Well, you just said that you'd go play for Drinkowitz for 8 figures. Just seeing if you would take the same path as Muleshoe. when talking about the OC job.
A listener in Iowa says Nebraska on 3 talking like they are flipping Mills. Yeah, again, going to have to sweat it all the way to signing day with Cortez Mills. Nebraska, Florida, Miami, there are all kinds of schools there that have been involved and will continue to be involved, and those sharks are going to keep circling because when you have a kid committed all the way from Homestead, Florida, and you're struggling offensively the way that OU is struggling, there are other programs that are going to negative recruit the hell out of you to those kids.
You got to sweat that one out more than any other player currently committed? I mean, he's the one that's taking another visit, correct? The only one?
It's crazy. We haven't gotten around to this yet, I don't think, but Jaden O'Neal is visiting Colorado this weekend. And look, I'm not even going to try to sugarcoat reality on that one. That's concerning, and that's part of the reason we said as soon as Seth Luttrell was dismissed, you're going to have to re-recruit Jaden O'Neal. Whether he decommits or not, you're going to have to re-recruit that kid, and Oklahoma will have to re-recruit that kid under their new offensive coordinator, whoever that may be. But, Cortez Mills, to this point in the 2025 class, is the only pledge that has gone and visited somewhere else, at least that we know of.
How about this during the break? I'm going to give away 2 pairs of tickets for the OU men's hoops game tomorrow. First 2 texters that text in, 405-651-3439. Who the leading scorer for OU men's basketball is through 2 games, all right? And actually use these tickets if you want to participate. First 2 texters to tell me who OU's leading scorer is up to this point. We'll give them a couple of tickets courtesy of Fowler Auto for tomorrow afternoon, 1 p.m., OU and Stetson inside the LNC. I'll reward those winners over the break. One final segment of Locked In coming up next. I'm at the Riverwind Casino where Clay Walker is coming Friday, November 29th. Check him out at the door. You can purchase at the door or at the Riverwind box office as well. Clay Walker coming here to Riverwind on November 29th. Friday, November 29th. Final segment of Locked In is coming up next.
Orange Down Apple Pie Liquor is not your grandma's apple pie unless your grandma was a moonshiner with a PhD in flavor. This all-natural 6-time distilled spirit is sure to light up any party, tailgate, or special occasion. Whether toasting a touchdown or yelling at the Yums because Spike was safe, Horns Down Apple Pie is the perfect drink for celebrating the highs and lows of life in Oklahoma. Horns Down celebrates all of you who cheer from the berm, tailgate, on Lindsay Streak, and wreak havoc on social media. You can find our red bottle at your local liquor store or search for your closest location at drinkhornsdown.com.
Free when you set up a monthly bank draft for an adult annual membership. This is an average savings of over $200 and your membership includes a cart. Come to the Pro Shop before December 31st to get signed up.
How about this? We're hanging out with the winningest coach in OU football history, Bob Stoops, Mondays on the T-Row in the Morning Show. It's the Stoops Review with the HBC on the T-Row Show, Mondays from 7:45 to 8:30 with limited commercial interruption. Every Monday, we'll be looking back at Saturday's OU game with a guy who knows what he's looking at. Bob Stoops, the Visor, the HBC on our show every Monday. Check it out.
Get hurt in a game? We tough it out. Feel exhausted? We push on. Feeling down? We pull ourselves up by the bootstraps. But there are times when bootstraps aren't enough. When stress gets to us and we need to talk to someone about what we're really going through. So we're going to reach out because sometimes mental health is not a one-person job. Visit loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Are you looking for luxury apartments for rent in Norman? The Falls at Brookhaven offers stunning apartments in a well-maintained, calm atmosphere. Enjoy our landscaping, a swim in the pool, or take your pet for a walk in one of our 2 dog parks. Our spacious outdoor areas and state-of-the-art amenities will make this new home feel like a resort. All this can be right outside of your door when you live at the Falls at Brookhaven. Call our locally owned and operated community at 405-701-8233 or go online to thefallsatbrookhaven.com to view our spacious floor plans. It's the biggest event of the year. The Black Friday sales event is happening now at Lander CDJR of Norman. This Black Friday, shop up to $18,000 off of new 2024 Ram 1500 or $15,000 off of new 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee. Visit us at Lander CDJR of Norman or check out the deals online at LanderCDJRNorman.com. Hurry in because these deals won't last long. wrong. 2024 Ram 1500 AWD, stock number RN207871. 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited AWD, stock number RC105355.
Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here are some water conservation tips you can try. In the bathroom, if your shower can fill a 1-gallon bucket in less than 20 seconds, replace the shower head with a water-efficient one. They are cheap, easy to install, and can save you up to 750 gallons a month. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman.
My daughter was diagnosed with a rare malignant rhabdoid tumor on the spine. They sent her straight to St. Jude. My hope was gone. But when you get there, everyone's like, hey, we're not gonna give up. And when you see other people not giving up on your child, that makes all the difference in the world. When I found out I didn't have to pay, I was just grateful. They saved my baby's life.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
At Primrose Funeral Service, we have been compassionately serving families for over 80 years. Do your loved ones a favor by pre-planning your funeral and cemetery arrangements. With pre-planning, Primrose can help eliminate the difficult decisions at a difficult time, because nobody should plan for a loss at the same time they are experiencing one. Our sincere commitment is to make things a little easier for you and your family. So contact Primrose Funeral Service at 405-321-6000 or visit them online at primrosefuneralservice.com.
Dorsey Jones, Buick GMC in El Reno, bringing this hour of Locked In with McComas and Thune. Yeah, Dorsey Jones in El Reno. Great prices, great selection. Also, half-price oil changes on Saturday, so it's a bye week tomorrow. Doesn't mean that you're not going to be watching any college football. I'll hopefully be watching college football all day long. But if you need an oil change, head out to Dorsey Jones Buick GMC in El Reno. 405 Taylor won tickets over the break. And Bryson Hunt won tickets over the break. So I appreciate all the interaction there. The difficult trivia question. If you followed 5 minutes of this basketball team, it was an easy guess. Who's the leading scorer so far for OU men's hoops? Appreciate Fowler Automotive for hooking us up with those tickets. I appreciate everyone who actually tried, but I also do appreciate the people who say, like, Billy Sims, Wayman Tisdale, Eduardo Nahara. There's at least some comedy along with people actually trying on the text line. So, as always, I appreciate that. Okay. Texter from the state of North Carolina says, I keep hearing that the OC job may not be highly sought because it may be a one-year proposition. Unless the offense gets worse, why would they only give BV 1 year with the new offensive coordinator? Doesn't it seem likely that it would be at least 2 if we even see slight improvement? Or do you stick with what we have to get to the playoffs in order for Brent Venables to have a job? Toby from the Pentagon.
I mean, I don't think it has to be playoffs or bust in 2025 for Brent Venables. I think as long as there's improvement, and we reasonably expect that there will be improvement, Brent Venables is going to have an added measure of job security. But that, in order for that to happen, Tyler, as we've said time and again, you have got to get this OC hire right. Because the defense is good enough right now. I mean, let's be honest with ourselves.
100%.
The defense is good enough for Oklahoma to be in playoff contention. Maybe not a surefire playoff team, but up there in the hunt. The issue for Oklahoma all season has been primarily concentrated on the offensive side of the ball. And so for any offensive coordinator, here's the challenge in front of them. In 1 year, can you help Oklahoma's offense rehabilitate to the point where it is scoring like the Oklahoma offenses of old and playing complementary football with a defense that, in conjunction with an offense that's scoring like that, should be able to put you in the playoff hunt? If that can happen, then as the OC, you are either up for big-time head coaching jobs at season's end, or at the very least, you're getting a nice raise, and you yourself have even more security moving forward at Oklahoma.
You know what's crazy is, I mean, they're going to have to get better on the offensive line. They're going to have to be better at quarterback. They're going to have to get healthy again at wide receiver. I mean, they're going to have to do a lot of things to be the offense next year that they would want to be. But if they could just, significantly cut down on turnovers, well, I mean, won't that won't that in itself feel like it's a huge improvement if they just don't have just god-awful turnovers, 2 or 3 of them every single game?
Yeah, man.
That would go a long way this year.
It's the backbreakers, too. Like, that's the thing. It feels like every single turnover that Oklahoma has this season is a turnover that drastically impacts the trajectory of the football game. It's not as if you have a throwaway turnover where, it's 4th and 5 from no man's land and you throw it 30 yards downfield and it gets picked off at the opponent's own 10-yard line, and so they're starting with a lengthy duration to go to score. No, it feels like every single time Oklahoma turns the football over, not only are they turning it over, they are gift-wrapping the opposition with points or a very convertible opportunity to put points on the board.
Florida Sooner says the defense would be top 10 if the offense could be top 40.
Man, I believe that.
I believe that too, man. I absolutely believe that for all the reasons you just listed about the defense and, even in special teams. I know that you're muffing some punts right now, which is not great, but in terms of how Zach Schmidt is playing right now, when's the last time you felt this good about a punter-kicker duo at OU? You know what I mean?
Yeah, here's the thing. You don't really worry about those two dudes when they trot on the field. Last time I can recall that happening was, I guess, 2019 when Gabe Burkich was money on extra points and field goals, and OU never really had to punt. So didn't really have to count on seeing Reeves Munshaw because that's who the punter was back then. But you're obviously seeing a lot more of the punter this year. Luke Elzinga has been a weapon, though. And Zach Schmidt, to his credit, man, Brent Venables said it after the Auburn game. Would have been real easy for that guy to walk away from football because he's not on scholarship. He loses his starting job to Tyler Keltner, who comes in via the transfer portal this offseason. He could have just walked away, washed his hands of it. Instead, he stuck it out, got the job back, and he has been money these last few weeks.
Yeah, and that's kind of that's frustrating to me is that defense can win you a lot of games this year. That kicker, if you're in a close game, you feel as good as you felt in a long time if you had to hit a big kick in a big game with where Zach Schmidt's at right now. And you've got a punter in Luke Elzinga who's one of the best in all of college football and can consistently flip a field for you for a great defense. You just got so many important ingredients, I think, to be a really good team, but the offense is just lacking so much with those really bad turnovers that even if you're good in all the other facets, it's tough to overcome that right now, man.
Really good text from Alex in Manford. I will never be an OC, but if I were, here's what I would say if I looked at OU. Defense, yeah, they're good. Special teams, yeah, they're solid. So you're telling me I just need to basically average 30, 35 points a game with how good that D is? Deal. And yeah, I'm fully aware it's not as easy as it seems to average 30, 35 points per game, but still. Thoughts?
I mean, yeah. You tell me next year's offense averages 30 to 35 points per game and that they don't have just terrible turnovers next year, then they'll probably be in a pretty good spot. I mean, I don't even even this year, Parker, you didn't even necessarily need to average that many points. You just needed to not turn the ball over consistently. And you were going to be – you wouldn't have been a college football playoff team, but we wouldn't be talking about this team, potentially missing a bowl game.
Oh, yes, gosh. I was waiting on this text. Why are kickers not on scholarship, but guys like Jackson Arnold are?
Nice.
I'm trying to think when the last time Oklahoma rostered a scholarship specialist would have been. I guess it would have been Michael Turk. Michael Turk would have been the last time OU had a scholarship specialist. I'm not even 100% convinced he was on scholarship. I think he was. I'm not 1,000%.
They got him from Arizona State, right?
Yeah,
that's
Arizona
where he's at
State
before.
via the portal.
Yeah. Austin Seibert was like a captain, I think, in 2017, maybe 2018, whatever year it was. I can't remember which year it was.
Austin Seibert was real reliable for 4 years. Except for that one he shanked against Army, which felt catastrophic at the time. He was like, oh, no. OU's going to lose this in overtime, aren't they? And then, of all people, Parnell Motley saved the day.
GB from the 918, anyone that thinks you can't turn this offense around in 1 year is crazy. We went from good to really bad in 1 year. With people coming back from injuries, there is no reason not to be good. Think BV needs to go minimum 8-4 to keep his job. I think he needs to make the playoff.
Well, which one do you think, GB? Is it 8-4 or is it the playoffs? Because I agree with your first suggestion that it has to be 8-4. If all Oklahoma does next year is win 7 games, then I think the perspective is going to be, well, Oklahoma has plateaued under Brent Venables. They're just mediocre now. This isn't good enough. There has to be change made. But if OU wins 8 games, I know that's not the immediate microwave turnaround that everybody had hoped for. And it certainly depends on the eye test. It depends on how those 8 wins look. But I think 8 wins could certainly be good enough to ensure that Brent Venables returns in 2026.
6:05, you guys having fun from the state of South Dakota? Yeah, I'm having a good time so far. Here at Riverwind, you having fun today, Parker? It's about to be your weekend.
I'm having a ton of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I get to go out to Weatherford, America tonight to watch C.J. Nixon and Evanston, Alaska. I'm living my best life. I'm wearing
you gonna hit up Jerry's Diner, open 24/7.
Is that a thing? Jerry's Diner?
It was when all my buddies went to school out there. It's still around, but I don't know if the locals frequent that place that much. Maybe just hammered college kids.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. I mean, hey, if hammered college kids frequent it, though, then that's worth something. I might have to check it out. I might check it out when I head out there.
Maybe Nate Downs will meet you there after the football game. Maybe that'll happen. You're going to see a better high school football team than one in Alabama. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Columbia Eagles in Huntsville, Alabama.
Haven't.
But they are on the wrong side of history after they finished the 2024 season 0-10, which is their 91st consecutive defeat.
Whoa.
You heard that correctly. The Columbia Eagles in Huntsville, Alabama, 91 consecutive losses. Midway in the fourth quarter, in their last game of the season, they were within striking distance of their first victory in 9 years. However, the opponent scored a touchdown. Columbia never recovered. The 91-game losing streak is already the longest in high school football history, 9 games longer than the previous record from 1990 to 1999.
That's hard to fathom because you would have to imagine that there have been multiple coaching changes over that span of time. Like, they're in Alabama. It's not as if Alabama is and Huntsville in particular, not as if that is a city, an area devoid of prep football talent. How do you lose 91 games in a row, man? That's bonkers.
At what point do you consider just shutting the entire program down? 100 wins?
I mean, if you lose 100 straight games, yeah, that has to be the point at which you just say, okay, we're going to focus on other sports.
Oh, man. Never won a game in like 10 years out there. Miserable. 918, did anyone ask Dan Mullen if he liked covered wagons? I didn't get any videos last night from anyone at the Tulsa game.
TJ Eckert was supposed to take care of that for us. He did not, to my knowledge. I'm disappointed in him. Going to have to hold him accountable when he comes on the show next week. We were counting on him to deliver us the Dan Mullen scoop, and he did not do it.
So are we heading into the weekend with the assumption that Joe Craddock and Dan Mullen are the two favorites? Or would we like to enter someone else into that same kind of tier and throw in Ben Arbuckle as well?
Yeah, I would throw Ben Arbuckle in there. And I would say this. I think it just comes down to the want-to factor with Mullen. I truly think the job is going to be his if he wants it. And I know he's given consideration to it, Tyler. But as we all know, it's one thing to consider a job. It's another thing to actually take a job. So Mullen and Craddock I would have at the top of my list, slightly ahead of Arbuckle, but I would concede Arbuckle is the third candidate that I would consider a major candidate.
All right, dude, enjoy the weekend. Drive safe to Weatherford as you go see C.J. Nixon out there, OU commit. Riverwind Casino is where I'm at on this Friday afternoon. Almost 3,000 of your favorite games, 20 table games, 11 poker tables, and its own off-track betting lounge. More to come next.